Namaste. We are all set for a very, very meaningful evening. Nation building was his life's mission, and all his followers, friends, family, and well wishers came together to move ahead on this motivating path. And thus was born in September 2019 Anant Kumar Pratisthana, named after true patriot, motivating leader Hegdahalli Narayan Shastri. His font are respectful pronouns. Ladies and gentlemen, in his memory, we all come together online for this webinar series. The inaugural session focus on leadership during the pandemic. Is taking COVID-19 head on and coming out stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be joined by Dr. Harshvardhan, Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Government of India, who is also the revered chairman of Executive Board of World Health Organization. And this will be presided over, who is already online, Dr. Ashwath Narayan Sir, Honorable Deputy CM, Government of Karnataka, who is also the Minister for Higher Education, IT and BT and Science and Technology, Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Livelihood. And our guests of honor, two eminent names, Dr. Devi Prasad Shetty, Padma Bhushan awardee, cardiac surgeon and affordable healthcare entrepreneur, Chairman Narayana Health, Bengaluru, and Dr. C.N. Manjunath, Padma Shri awardee, renowned cardiologist, Director, Sri Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, Bengaluru. Our main speaker is Dr. R. Balasubramaniam. He's a development activist, a social innovator and leadership trainer, and also the founder of Swami Vivekananda Youth Movement and grassroots research and advocacy movement, Mysore. A respectful welcome to all the panelists, and also we are joined by industry leaders, eminent scientists, especially from DRDO, thought builders from across the globe. And once again, it's a hearty welcome from Anant Kumar Pratisthana and Nation First Dialogues. Ladies and gentlemen, Anant Kumar Pratisthana. A detailed sketch of the same will reach you in a short time from now. And the three pillars of this Anant Kumar Pratisthana are the chairman, Professor P.V. Krishna Bhatta, Chancellor, Central University of Odisha, and also former MLC from Karnataka, and also former National President ABVP, and the trustees, two renowned names, Dr. B.S. Srinath, renowned surgical oncologist, and also the founder trustee of Sri Shankara Cancer Foundation, and also Dr. Tejaswini Anant Kumar, Stri Shakti. Yes, she is virtually the epitome of the same. Managing Trustee, Adamya Chetana Trust, and also the State Vice President of BJP, Karnataka. We are joined by all these eminent names, and a hearty welcome, Adarada Swagata, Pratiyobarigu Mattumme. I think we will now have a brief introduction of Anant Kumar Pratisthana, And also a formal welcome note by the trustee of AKP, Anant Kumar Pratishtana in short.
देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। सिलसिला ये बात मेरे यूं ही चलना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। मेरी नस नस तार कर दो और बना दो एक सितार, राग भारत मुझ पे छेड़ो, झंझनाओ बार बार। देश से ये प्रेम आंखों से झलकना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। शत्रु से कह दो जरा, सीमा में रहना सीख ले, ये मेरा भारत अमर है, सत्य कहना सीख ले। भक्ति की इस शक्ति को बढ़कर दिखाना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। है मुझे सौगंध भारत है मुझे, भूलूं ना एक क्षण तुझे, रक्त की हर बूंद तेरी है, तेरा अर्पण तुझे। युद्ध ये सम्मान का है, मान रहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए। मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए।
Golden words of Anant Kumar ji, always carrying us forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by Dr. Harshvardhan, Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Government of India, who is also the Chairman of Executive Board, World Health Organization. Most respectful welcome to you, sir. And now, the formal beginning of this webinar with a short note about Anant Kumar Pratishtana and also a formal welcome note. And this is made possible by one of the trustees of AKP, Dr. B.S. Srinath. Srinath, sir, over to you.
Honorable Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Government of India, Dr. Harshvardhan Ji, our beloved Deputy Chief Minister of Government of Karnataka, Dr. Ashwath Narayan Dore, Padma Bhushan Awardee, Dr. Devi Prasad Shetty Ji, Padma Shri Awardee, Dr. C.N. Manjunath, Dr. R. Balasubramaniam, Dr. Tejaswini Anant Kumar, core group members of Anant Kumar Pratisthana, invitees, friends across the world visiting us through the web. On behalf of the trustees and core group members of Sri Anant Kumar Pratisthana, it gives me great pleasure to heartily welcome you for the first webinar of the Nation First Dialogue series under the aegis of Anant Kumar National Institute of Public Policy Research and Leadership Development. Sri Anant Kumar Pratisthana was inaugurated by the National President of BJP, Sri J.P. Nadda Ji, in the august presence of many national leaders and friends of Anant Kumar in September last year. The main objective of the institute is to promote and propagate some of the visionary and progressive measures taken by Anant Kumar in his lifetime, which, through its impact, brought about a major impact on the society. One can evidence his passion-filled, indelible signature and hard work in the manufacturing of neem-coated urea, rationalization of cost of pharmaceutical products and medical devices, initiation and promotion of Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras across the country, and bringing Kempegowda International Airport and Metro Rail to Bangalore. His Trivida Dasoha of Anna, Akshara and Arogya has offered tremendous benefits to the children of our society. In establishing Anant Kumar National Institute of Public Policy and Research and Leadership Development, the foundation wishes to pay an everlasting tribute to the great leader. Our nation and the globe is facing unprecedented suffering and hardship because of an unforeseen pandemic, COVID-19. Poorly understood, devastating, and frightening, this disease has affected every sphere of life. It has challenged the strength, thinking capabilities, and wisdom of the leadership, both in the center and state. Scientists, healthcare providers, supply chain, and delivery systems are struggling to cope. It was thus felt appropriate that the first webinar should focus on leadership demands in these unprecedented times. It is to the credit of our leaders that the nation is fighting this pandemic with stoicism and unity. Although we are yet to see the back of this disease, the resolve and strength of commitment will see us win over this pandemic. On this occasion, it gives me immense happiness to welcome our Honorable Central Cabinet Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, respected Dr. Harshvardhan Ji. Sir, your relentless hard work, your commitment and simplicity is a model to follow. We welcome you, sir. I welcome our amicable, capable and very helpful Deputy Chief Minister, Dr. Ashwath Narayan. Sir, we value your counsel and support. We heartily welcome you. The eminent doctors, Dr. Padma Bhushan, Dr. Devi Shetty and Padma Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath are our guests of honor today. They have made immeasurable contributions in health services in our country. I welcome both of them. Dr. Balasubramaniam is a scholar of public policy, a reformer, and he will be addressing us on the main theme of today's webinar, the Nation First Dialogue series. I welcome you, sir, and I welcome all the people far and wide who are participating in this webinar through the web. Thank you all.
Thank you, Srinath sir, for that formal introduction and also a hearty welcome note. Thanks once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a virtual inauguration video which marks the formal inauguration of this webinar. Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir, for this formal inauguration. We have a long way to go in nation building through this humble attempt. Anant Kumar Pratisthana, Nation First Dialogues. Ladies and gentlemen, we now listen to his words, inaugural speech. Please put your hands together wherever you are to welcome Dr. Harshvardhan sir, Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare. Sir, we wait for your inaugural words.
Good evening, all of you. Dr. Ashwath Narayan ji, our Honorable Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, who is also the Minister for Higher Education, IT and BT, and Science and Technology, Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Livelihood. I am extremely happy to see the presence of two of my dear professional colleagues in this function. Padam Bhushan Dr. Devi Prasad Shetty, an eminent cardiac surgeon and who is known as an affordable healthcare entrepreneur and who is also the chairman of the Narayana Health, and Padam Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath, renowned cardiologist, also the director of Dr. Shri Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, our eminent speaker Dr. R. Balasubramaniam ji, development activist, social innovator, and also an eminent leadership trainer, who is also the founder of the Swami Vivekananda Youth Movement and Grassroots Research and Advocacy Movement, Mysore. And we are also joined, of course, by the main organizers of this function, Professor P.V. Krishna, Dr. Srinath, and of course, our most respected and dear Dr. Tejaswini Anand Kumar ji. We are also joined, I am sure, by many other distinguished members of Parliament, eminent people not only from Bengaluru but also from all parts of the country and all parts of the world. We are also joined by many academic people, many scientists, many well-wishers and lovers of Shri Anant Kumar ji, and of course a lot of dedicated and committed BJP workers all over the country. Friends, addressing this first webinar dedicated to the memory of our great leader Shri Anant Kumar ji, I think it's a very, very emotional moment for me. and literally I have tears in my eyes when I try to deliver this at this particular moment. Anant Kumar ji, we know, was such a great leader, a great friend, such a charming personality, ever smiling, humble worker for the society, for the nation, who enjoyed everybody's affection. We always feel so sorry when we try to recall that during his last few months he never disclosed his illness to anybody. And I remember that when I visited him in the hospital in Bengaluru, the doctors very particularly told me, "Sir, this is the desire of our great Anant Kumar ji, that you should not talk about his illness to anybody." And most of our colleagues in the cabinet never appreciated, never realized that while he was working so actively in Parliament as the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, he was involved with the care of our late dear Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. And for all important issues, probably he or his family were the only one in this world who knew about his illness. That is, I think, that speaks volumes about the greatness of the great man. I had seen him working in various fields at least for the last 3 decades, whether as a RSS Swayamsevak, whether as a ABVP activist, whether as a BJP humble worker, or whether as a young minister in the Atalji's government. I used to be the national vice president along with Venkaiah ji at that time when he was the minister in Atalji's government. And because he was also the urban development minister, I had the privilege to watch him from very, very close quarters. And then, of course, during the last couple of years, I saw him working so diligently, so committedly, so sincerely, so honestly in the cabinet of Shri Narendra Modi ji. And what was described by Dr. Srinath just now about some of the achievements of Shri Anant Kumar ji as a minister, whether it was for those Jan Aushadhi Kendras or whether it was for the affordable stents and things like that, whether it was for the neem coated urea or the Bengaluru airport or metro, I think these are all very, very, I would say, minuscule indicators of the great work that he did. This only reflects the tip of the iceberg. He was a great worker, and I loved him more particularly because of his commitment to environmental issues. I have also been an activist, loving environment, working to contribute for the preservation of environment. And as environment minister, I myself launched the Green Good Deeds movement in the country. And I always found Shri Anant Kumar ji so committed for the causes of environment. BJP workers all over the country, leaders of BJP all over the country, and I know those who have worked with him in ABVP and of course in the government, they will all remember him very fondly. We have so many nostalgic moments and memories that we would love to share, but time doesn't permit. I have to, in fact, thank and express the gratitude of millions of BJP workers to the Anand Kumar Pratisthana people, Dr. Krishna and Professor Krishna, Dr. Srinath, Dr. Tejaswini ji, and others for starting this great movement. Though it has been started last year under the able leadership and presence of two great leaders, one our Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Yadurappa ji, and of course right now our National Party President, Shri J.P. Nadda ji, who has also been the former Health Minister. And I certainly feel privileged to be part of this function, which is probably the first of its kind webinar initiating the Nation First Dialogues. And the way this Pratishthan and the people associated with it have been working over the years. I know each one of you whom I can see on the screen and who have been associated with this movement. They are not individuals, they are all institutions. Dr. Tejaswini ji, I know you have dedicated otherwise your life to very high quality social work, and we can appreciate how much you must be missing Anand Kumar ji. We can only assure you that we also miss him as much as you miss him. The best way to pay tributes to the great man, our young leader Shri Anand Kumar ji, is to remember him, his greatness, his work, his commitment to society and nation, and try to follow the path that he always followed, the path of great ideals which has been laid down by our Vichar Parivar. Today you have asked me to talk a bit about COVID in this Nation First Dialogues. I know all of you are so thoroughly familiar with the COVID situation, not only in India but all across the world. You are all very high quality intellectuals, very knowledgeable, very learned, who keep up to date knowledge about everything. This 2020 has been a very typical year, and while I talk to you, I am trying to recall. For me, when did this COVID thing start? And in fact, it started on as soon as we saw the first week of January coming to an end. We got this news from China, which was conveyed to the World Health Organization and of course through them to the whole world, that there is a new virus, coronavirus, causing typical type of pneumonia cases that has been observed in China. And as far as India is concerned, within less than 24 hours, because of our past experience of having encountered so many infectious diseases and new viruses, etc., etc., on 8th of January itself, in the Health Ministry, we had called the first meeting of our experts. You will all feel proud of India and the people around us when you will learn that although we got the first case of COVID in India on 30th of January, But before that, we had planned everything. We had, in fact, communicated everything to everyone relevant in this country. 8th January was the first meeting of the experts, in which we even invited the WHO people. By 17th January, we had formulated the detailed advisories for all the states. We had started the community health surveillance for the whole country. We had started the point of entry surveillance at our airports, which we followed later with point of entry surveillance at the land borders with Nepal when we saw the first case in Nepal, and of course at all our seaports. And it's a long journey. Thousands of passengers, lakhs of passengers from thousands of flights, and of course who boarded ships, and of course over 1 million who crossed the borders. They were all screened. The community surveillance that we started on 17th of January, if I have to talk about it today, almost 32 lakh people in this country were under the direct community surveillance activities, basically under the supervision of the Union Health Ministry and the National Center for Disease Control. And after the first case was detected on 30th of January, India, unlike many other countries in the whole world, focused so much on contact tracings that the first medical student who arrived in India as a COVID positive cases, we had almost 162 contacts traced around her. Those who traveled with her from China to Calcutta, from Calcutta to Bangalore, from Bangalore to Kerala, and from Kerala to her home. And that was the thrust of our strategy right from the beginning. As soon as the first case of COVID was detected, Prime Minister, who had been monitoring everything right from the day one, he constituted a group of ministers under me with 4-5 of my other colleague ministers there, all the top secretaries of the Government of India there. And yesterday itself we had our 20th meeting of the group of ministers, which we have been continuously organizing, discussing and planning. And right from the day one, the country adopted a proactive, preemptive and a graded response to the developments. We never waited for any development to occur. We anticipated things in advance, and the greatness of the whole activity, you have talked about leadership. I think we were very fortunate to have a great leader like Narendra Modi ji at the helm of affairs, who, in spite of being the Prime Minister of the country, so meticulously monitored everything. There were series of meetings at his level, at the level of the Cabinet Secretary, at the level of the Union Health Minister, at the level of the Union Health Secretary, and then so many video conferences with health ministers of the whole country over the last 6 months. We remember that on 22nd March, it was just about 10 days after the World Health Organization had declared this COVID as a pandemic. Prime Minister did that great innovative experiment. At that stage, nobody realized that he was probably preparing the whole country for a nationwide lockdown. On 22nd of March, we remember that great Janta curfew, where almost 135 crore people, 1.35 billion people, everybody participated with so much of commitment, sincerity, enthusiasm, and each and every child, each and every woman, each and every young person, old person, everybody stood in support, appreciating the contribution of our corona warriors, our doctors, our other healthcare staff in the hospitals, and it was followed by the lockdown. Rest, we all have been witnessing lockdown 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the great bold decisions of unlocking also. Various phases of unlocking also we are seeing. There were so many issues during the course of the journey of these last 8 months. We all know the issues of immense concern that arose because of the migrant laborers. But the country never looked back. We also remember the day when a couple of years back we used to send these samples for testing to the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, USA. And in the month of Feb, we had only one lab in Pune, our National Institute of Virology. We started our journey from there. And today when we talk about the COVID and its impact and the fight against it under the able leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, I have the backing of 1,583 laboratories, more than 1,000 of them in the government sector only. And I know that lot many of them in Karnataka also. You must be remembering that in the initial 3-4 months, at every television channel, we used to hear sounds like test, test, test. And in the month of April, the country was doing, first week of April, I remember we were doing something like 6,000 tests a day. And now, twice when we set our target to do 1 lakh tests a day and then later 1 million tests per day, we achieved that target much before the targeted date. Yesterday also, we did more than 1 million tests per day. We still remember in the initial stages, everybody used to be talking about the PPEs and the shortages of N95 masks. And everybody was concerned, where shall we get the ventilators from? And today, when we ask the states that we want to send you more PPE kits, we want to send you more N95 masks, we want to send you more ventilators, at most of the places we get the reply that please wait for some time. We don't have places to keep them. All these things which were not made in India, most of them were imported. Today we have 109 manufacturers of PPE kits in the country. We are manufacturing over 5 lakh PPE kits per day in the country. Similarly for N95 masks, more than 10 manufacturers, and also 25 manufacturers for ventilators in the country. We have already supplied 27,000 to the people, to the hospitals all across the country. These achievements have been unique, and to back these achievements, you will all have to appreciate that all these kits for the tests, in the initial weeks we were all importing all of them. Today most of the kits we are manufacturing within the country, and there are hundreds of people who have been hand-holded to develop that capacity and capability. A test which used to cost over 2000 rupees in terms of what was required to do that test, that kit is now available for 200-300 rupees. A sea change. Hydroxychloroquine, which became one time so important that everybody was thinking that it's the most important prophylactic drug to be given to everybody. We are almost exporting it to over 150 countries of the whole world. And to back this all, there has been the tremendous support of the scientific community in the last 8 months. We are one of the few 5-6 countries in the whole world where we have been able to isolate the virus. In my own ministry, Science and Technology with CSIR and biotechnology scientists, we have done the complete genome sequencing of more than 1000 viruses, and a lot of research going on around that. A lot of startups have been supported to help the country in the fight against COVID. And of course, we are not lagging behind anyone else in the whole world in our efforts to contribute to the global fight for the search for a vaccine against COVID. You know already, even in India, we have about 7-8 vaccine candidates, 3 of them in the clinical trial phases and the rest in preclinical trials. And by the end of this year, we hope to be able to get a vaccine against COVID. We all know that how much setback was there for the economy, for the jobs, and for so many things. But our Prime Minister never lost his cool. In the initial days itself, we remember he having announced a support of 15,000 crores to the health ministry. And we distributed all that money to all the states, told them that nobody in this country should suffer because we don't have a health facility, we don't have a medicine, we don't have a PPE kit or whatever was needed. And today, I feel so happy to tell you that in the whole country, we have right now developed over 17,000 dedicated COVID hospitals, COVID health care centers, and COVID care centers where there are over 17 lakh beds. And to add to them is another list of 12,000 quarantine centers all over the country where again there are lakhs of beds. In spite of India being a country of 1.35 billion, where many of the experts who visited India in the last 6 months, whether they came from Harvard or whether they came from the topmost universities of the whole world, they had projected that in July and August, there shall be over 300 million cases in India. There will be at least 5-6 million deaths in India. Today, we are at the fag end of August. The total cases that we have is just about 3.5 million, out of which 2.7 million have already gone back home, recovered, fully recovered. Rest are on road to recovery. We have the highest recovery rate, you know. We are going to touch 77%. We have almost the least fatality rate in the whole world, 1.8%. And if we compare the cases per million or deaths per million or the tests per million that are required, I think we are faring far, far better than the rest of the world. This all has been possible because of the support of everyone, because of the support of the whole of government, all the departments in the government, thousands and lakhs of corona warriors, our doctors, and of course hundreds and thousands of dedicated, selflessly working NGOs all over the country who ensured that none of our people belonging to the downtrodden sections or those who are the have-nots, they are deprived of the basics during this crisis. Prime Minister himself declared a 1.7 lakh crores package for the poor people. Later, a 20 lakh crore package for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And whatever is actually happening right now, though we have cases in the countries even now, but the country by and large has learned to fight the virus, live with the virus, protect the society from the virus, and there is a continuous, I would say, motivation, awakening, dissemination of information and knowledge using all possible technological means to divulge all relevant details, all relevant guidelines to the people of India through the various health ministries. The Prime Minister himself organized almost, I would say, 8 or 9 video conferences with the chief ministers. I myself organized so many and had been in touch with all the health ministers. We have the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister here. We know how Karnataka has been faring all through this crisis. This all has been possible because of the support of all of you. The story of last 8 months is a huge description which cannot be concised in a talk within 20 minutes. But I am sure that this nation first dialogues, starting with COVID has taught us so many things, and in the past India has always showed its enormous potential and capability. We had been able to eradicate smallpox in a huge country which was home to 60% of the polio cases of the whole world. We have been able to eradicate polio. Coming January, we will see a full decade of India's story where we saw the last case of polio in the country on 13th of January 2011. We did not allow Ebola to enter our country in 2014. We did not allow Nipah virus to travel out of Kerala in the last 2 years. We have probably the most potent and well organized integrated disease surveillance system in the whole world, and that is why because we focused so much on surveillance, we focused so much on contact tracing, tracking, diagnosing, and treating. Our focus right from the day one has been that catch everybody as early as possible, isolate him as early as possible, test him and treat him as early as possible, as best as possible, and ensure that we have the least mortality. And that is why we have seen that at any time, every day at 6 o'clock, I monitor how many patients are there on the ventilator today. It has never been more than 0.3% in the country. Patients in the ICUs have never been more than 2%. It has always been between 1.5 to 2%. And patients on oxygen have been between 2 to 3%, never more than that. This all has been possible because of the support of dedicated people all over the country, our dedicated leaders. I would like to stop here, hoping and wishing and praying. Personally, I feel that in the next couple of months, maybe by Diwali time, we should have a very significant control over the coronavirus. We have people like Dr. Devi Shetty here and Dr. Manjunath, and they will probably agree that after some time this will also become endemic like many other viruses which have come to the globe in the past. But the virus has taught us certain lessons. It has taught us that there has to be a new normal, and we need to be more vigilant about, more cautious about our lifestyles, how we can protect our health, how we can improve our health, how we can strengthen our immunity. And that is where there is a need for a renewed pledge to strengthen movements like Eat Right India, Fit India, and many others, which will ensure that in the times to come we can deliver health for all, first time successfully in India, for which I feel India has also the DNA, also the potential, also the experience, also the knowledge, and also the commitment under our great Prime Minister. He has dreamt and has also kept for us a dream to work on a new India by 2022, a Vishwa Guru Bharat ultimately, where we can restore smile on everybody's face. We can wipe tears from everybody's eyes. We can ensure that we provide adequate health and education and nutritional facilities to every child. And we also take care of the rights and the safety of every woman, and of course the dignity of all the elderly people, and focus only on humanism and nationalism. I think if we, while we remember a great nationalist leader like Anant Kumar today, if we can reassert, revisit our pledge, our commitment, and see that we all also have a dream to contribute and work upon to ultimately ensure the realization of the dreams of our Honorable Prime Minister, who we strongly feel is a God-sent opportunity for Indians, a great blessing for Indians. And I don't say that because I belong to his cabinet. I say that because we see him working from the closest of quarters. And certainly we are confident that under his leadership we will certainly see an India of our dreams. With these few words, I once again thank Dr. Tejaswini ji for giving me this privilege of being a part of this very, very pious and very, very emotional function. And also pray to God that He should bless us to follow the ideals of our great leaders like Anant Kumar ji with commitment and sincerity and dedication. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Bharat Mata ki Jai.
This has been highlighted in those inspiring words by the Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, Dr. Harsh Vardhan, in his inaugural words. Respectful thanks to you, sir, for all those details and valuable inputs. Thanks once again, sir.